104.3 The Fan. Welcome to Denver Sports Tonight, taking a look at the biggest stories in Denver sports. From your online home for the best opinions and information on the Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, Rockies, and more. DenverSports.com.
Oh, yes, it is Denver Sports Tonight right here on the ever-powerful Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. I am Manilo Piro. Hope everyone is doing well in and around the Mile High City alongside my man, Dante Gomez. Good show lined up for you guys here tonight. Lot to unpack, lot to talk about in the world of Denver sports. We'll mix in, I think, all four of the major sports teams tonight. We'll talk a little Rockies, we'll do a little Avs, some Broncos, of course, and the Denver Nuggets. I feel like Dante and I have had this good weekly conversation, confidence tracker thoughts that we kind of put together for the Denver Nuggets. So we'll make sure to hit that as they are off tonight. They were off yesterday as well, so 2 much-needed rest days for them before they return to action tomorrow night with just a handful of games remaining in the season. Dante, what's up, brother?
What's up, AP? How you doing?
You mute my mic there on purpose at the end of the drive? Or
not on
what's
purpose.
Up with that?
You know, you only turn on 2 mics for the entire show, and then sometimes you forget, and you got it down to muscle memory that I only had to turn on the 2, and I forgot to turn yours on.
But
I apologize.
I thought that's what the on switch on these things is for.
Well, but I have to also pot it up.
Oh, you have to pot it up.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, because
okay.
I pot them down in the commercial breaks just to avoid any hot mic situations.
Yeah, we
in
don't
the
want
breaks.
that. A lot of interesting conversations in the breaks.
Yeah, you guys should hear some of the stuff Zach Baez says in commercials.
Yeah,
guys.
for sure.
But yeah, so I pot him down during the breaks, and I just forgot to pod yours up. My apologies. No offense was purposely given to you on that.
Well, I'm very offended. Very offended. I just want you to know that.
Well, it was a reminder that who really controls your voice.
This is fair. No, I'm just playing with you. Happy to have you on board here tonight, as you always are here on Denver Sports Tonight. Want to hear from you, the fan, the listener out there. Hit us up on the RamosLaw.com text line at 303-713-1043 if you guys want to get involved with this evening's conversation. And I think we've got to start tonight with the Colorado Avalanche, for good and for, I don't want to say for bad, but maybe some questions about a key player moving forward the rest of the way, at least in the regular season. But let's unpack the game last night. I get home from work. I'm keeping tabs on the Rocks. I'm keeping tabs on the Avalanche. I'm watching God knows what baseball games were on last night because I'm a baseball junkie, and we're going to talk some Rocks here in the sweep as well. But the Avalanche, I think that's the big story of the day in Denver sports. And I know there's a lot of you that are like, oh, Sean Payton spoke today. Oh, we heard from George Payton. Don't worry. We're getting to that stuff. Always room to talk Broncos when I'm on the air. But we're looking towards another day for this Broncos team, right? We're still a ways away from training camp, OTAs, off-season program, and all that kind of stuff. Whereas we've got right in front of us an Avalanche team that absolutely steamrolled the Calgary Flames last night. Your final score in that one, 9-2. A lot of different angles to dive into. The Avalanche effective on the power play, effective all night offensively. Nazem Kadri getting it done with a couple of goals last night for Colorado as well. And here's what I'll say about that win last night. That win against Calgary was reminiscent of what we saw early in the season for the Avalanche. And the Avalanche have been a stellar team. Probably the best team in the NHL for the entirety of the season. Sure, there's been some bumps in the road and there's been some losses along the way, but consistently they've been a red-hot, on-fire hockey team for a majority of the season. But last night, Dante, we know what Calgary is as well. Let's call that what we need to call it. That was a win that looked like November, December, January Avalanche.
It did. It really did. And it was one of those where I look up, it's 4-0, and I'm like, oh, that has to be a mistake. And nope, 11 minutes into the game, 4-0. Yeah. Avs jump on them. And how about that for a revenge game? I don't know if Nazem Kadri has any avenging to do against the Flames, but it felt like he did, scoring 2 goals there, both on the power play. So the Avs are hot, and they've won a couple in a row here, and it looks like they are going to be able to take this momentum into the playoffs. And I've never really been – it's similar to the Nuggets. I've never been worried when the Avs play a team below them. It's more about when they face a top, let's call it like top 10 team in the NHL. That's when the real challenge is there. So good for them for being able to end the game early, and maybe you're able to, or Jared Bednar is able to mix in some extra deeper lines in there, take a little bit of work off Nathan McKinnon's legs. So Avs look to be in the form that you mentioned in the first couple months of the year when they were just blowing out everybody, and they look like one of the best teams in hockey ever.
Yeah, and we're at the point in the schedule, like if you go to ESPN or whatever website or app you use to kind of track what games are coming up, we're at the point where you scroll all the way to the bottom, and it's just this little small sample size of a window. I mean, the remaining games for the Avalanche here, they're home against Vancouver tomorrow night. The big game is on Saturday, and it's actually a big Saturday weekend, or Saturday day weekend. What am I saying? It's a big Saturday in Denver sports because the Avalanche will take on the Dallas Stars in Dallas. That's a 1 p.m. puck drop. And the Nuggets also face off against the San Antonio Spurs on that same Saturday. I believe that's also a 1 p.m. tip. So you're going to have to go to, your local sports bar, your buddy's house who has multiple TVs, or do the old phone TV, phone, iPad, whatever it is. You're going to have dual screens because these are two massive games for both teams respectively. After the Dallas game, the Avs got 2 games against St. Louis, 2 more games against Calgary respectively, Vegas, Edmonton, and Seattle. So here we are, the home stretch of the season for this Avalanche team. And I think last night, to see what the Avalanche did off the heels of their 4-2 loss to Winnipeg was just refreshing. And I think you hit the nail on the head of, like, it's nice to kind of get these, I don't even want to say stress-free victory, which it was for the most part for the Avalanche, but also just like a dominant, flexing type of win as we saw last night, Dante.
Yeah, it was one of those where it was over before it started, basically.
Yep.
And excuse me, I said they've won a couple in a row here. I missed the Jets game in there, so they did drop one, but still, what is that, like 4 out of 5 that they've won?
Yeah, 4 out of 5. Yeah. Before that, it was a 3-game losing streak to Winnipeg. 3-game losing streak to Winnipeg,
Stars
Pittsburgh,
and the Penguins.
Stars. Yeah.
So I misspoke there for a sec, but still playing good hockey when it matters to, and going 4 out of 5. I think that's a good start. I'm excited to see what they look like against Vegas, against Edmonton. That could be a future playoff matchup for this team in the Western Conference Finals there. So I don't know. I'm at the point with this Avs team, though. There's nothing really they can show me in the regular season. I need to see it in the playoffs. I need to see these guys exercise some demons, beat the Stars or the Wild, whoever they end up getting matched up with in the second round. And I'm not the best at the math here, but I'm assuming the Avs are zeroing in on clinching that number 1 seed here pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, they've been in control of their own destiny for essentially the entirety of the season, but it definitely helps them in the points department to kind of clinch that 1 seed, clinch their division, respectively. Now within single digits, I believe, is the number for the Avalanche to go out there and clinch those things. That game against Dallas on Saturday is going to be massive. I mean, you think if the Avalanche are able to beat Dallas straight up, you feel pretty good about their chances to just not collapse the rest of the way in the regular season. So we shall see. Nice to see the power play as well start to come together a little bit more. I mean, really, since the Olympic break, we've seen this Avalanche team on the power play in particular, which has essentially been their Achilles heel and their kryptonite to a certain extent, start to round into form. Because I think that is, like, when we talk about the Nuggets, we talk about their defense, right? And we talk about the non-Jokic minutes at time. Like, the Avalanche's version of that is their power play and their inability to consistently generate goals off of that power play. That has not necessarily been the case here the last month or so, I'd say, Dante.
Yeah, power play looks to be fixed. And again, I want to see it against some of the better teams in the NHL.
Yep.
Calgary's not going anywhere. They were sellers, obviously,
Agreed.
at the trade deadline. They traded Nazem Kadri back to Colorado around then, as everyone will remember. So I want to see it against some of the better competition. I think on Saturday, if they could go 1 for 3 on the power play, I think that would help, or even like a 2 for 4, 2 for 3 performance out of them on Saturday. I think that would go a long ways for this team. What do you think it was about last night's game? I mean, they just came out red hot. We have the stats here. What was it? 42 shot attempts in the first period. I don't know what could have pissed them off to the point where they took it out on Calgary.
I think it could be a combination of different things, right? I mean, it could be the loss to Winnipeg 4-2 on Saturday. And I also think it's just like, it's one of those teams. Like, when they are locked in and you get the goaltending performance that you did last night out of Wedgwood as well, and McKinnon's playing the way that he is, and Kadri with the 2 power play goals, to go back to that conversation for just a moment, like, when they're on, they're on. And even when they're not 100% on, they're still a pretty tough team to beat. So I don't know if it was anything in particular outside of they just recognized this opportunity to go out there and flex on a team in Calgary that's on a road to nowhere. And Nazem Kadri last night with those 2 goals probably an interesting spot for him, right? It's not like you played for Calgary. Well, he did play for them last season, but it's not like you were in Calgary last year and you start the season fresh now with the Avalanche. He was traded here just about a cup of coffee ago to this Avalanche team. Last night, Nazem Kadri said he did not feel bad about beating up on his old team and his teammates out there in Calgary.
I mean, that's just sports, but certainly when you run up the score, but we're also trying to get better as a team, and I think they understand that. So we're looking for that to find our mojo before playoff time, and I think everybody understands that.
And I think it's exactly what it is, finding the mojo before playoff time. Is like the reason I bring up when you look at the schedule, it's really small, right? You can essentially count the number of games on both hands at this point in the season as well. Of like, you probably wake up yesterday, if you're a Nathan McKinnon, you're one of these players in Bednar, it's like there is no more lollygagging. And I'm not saying the Avalanche have necessarily lollygagged their way through, however many games or whatever it might be, but like you are now in peak form to go out there and get ready for the playoffs. Like it's time to knock whatever rust is off, put whatever injuries aside that you can, and just kind of lock in for what truly is the second season. And Dante, I agree with you. It's not a matter of what this Avalanche team does in the regular season. Now, to be fair, if Dallas manages to catch them in the standings, that will be extremely disappointing, but I don't think that's going to happen. What you want to see is your guys healthy, and we'll talk about Kale here in just a moment, and figuring out that power play. And we saw that on display last night. Here's what Kadri had to say about gaining confidence on that power play.
I think so, yeah. When you see a few hit the back of the net, obviously you feel like you can snap it around a little more. Seams look a little bit bigger. The net looks a little bit bigger. So I think we've worked at it. We've put in a lot of hard work, communicated a lot, and got our power play to where we want it to be.
Repetition, repetition, repetition. And so you like to see that from Colorado as a whole. Let's see them keep it going and let the good times roll here and try to make it as smooth of an entrance into the playoffs as you can. Build as much confidence, get as healthy as you can going into the NHL playoffs. Now, speaking of health, Cale Makar ends up leaving the Avalanche's 9-2 win over Calgary after just 2 periods of play with an upper body injury. You kind of holding your breath there for a little bit when you see Cale not playing for the third period. But the good news is it sounds like it's nothing too major for Cale Makar. Maybe you hold him out, it seems like, for a handful of games here down the stretch in the regular season. I think you obviously want to see Cale play at least a few more games in the regular season just to get him back on track. But first and foremost, the sigh of relief that Cale is not seriously injured, and also the roadmap ahead of potentially playing out without playing with Cale for a handful of games or so.
Yeah, and they didn't need him, obviously, in the third period of last night, so I think it's very smart to sit him out for that if he wasn't feeling 100% at that point after taking that hit. So as long as I'm with you, as long as he has a couple games there as a ramp-up going into the playoffs, he's played in so many playoff games. He's been a part of this Avalanche team for a while now. I'm not too concerned about him in the playoffs as long as he is healthy and able to play. I think we're going to get a very good version of him, especially after last year's playoff performances. I think he kind of has... He wants to take back that narrative that he can go out and do it in the playoffs as well. So, and he's a huge part to the Avalanche's success, and they're going to need him if they want to make a cup run here. So as long as he can play those last handful of games there, I'm good with it. Maybe sit him out until then, but 9 games left here, so not a lot of games left and not a lot of sample size to see from him. So I'm good. As long as he's healthy and ready to go, I have no worries about it.
Yeah, Pierre LeBrun on X adds the same thing that we just talked about. Doesn't believe the injury is going to be too serious, but he will likely miss a few games in order to get him to 100% before the playoffs. So let's just speculate here. I mean, odds are that he plays against Dallas, I would think, are slim to none if we're using the terminology of few. So Vancouver tomorrow night, Dallas on Saturday. You do have Thursday, Friday off, so we'll see if anything miraculous happens with Cale, but I think it's fair to assume he's going to miss one, if not both, of these upcoming games against the St. Louis Blues. So I'm looking about a 3 or 4 game range. So that'd be Vancouver, Dallas, St. Louis, St. Louis. And then if he were to come back after the St. Louis game, that's going to give him 5 games to get ready, 3 of which are at home against Calgary, home against Vegas, at Edmonton, at Calgary, home versus Seattle. So obviously we want Cale back sooner rather than later. It'd be awesome if he can play in that game against Dallas. Doesn't seem like that's going to be the case, but I think prioritizing the health of Cale Makar long-term needs to be priority number 1 in handling the situation.
Yeah, and I think the health for pretty much all their major impact players. I think I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Nathan McKinnon misses a game down the stretch, not because of injury, but more just prevention, get him off his legs a little bit there.
I don't know if Nathan McKinnon's going to allow himself to miss a game, though.
Really? You think even if they have the 1 seed
maybe
all
at that
secure?
at that point, maybe. But McKinnon doesn't strike me as that kind of guy.
No, I don't think so either, but maybe it's in the best interest of the organization to do a little bit
Fair.
of load management there instead of doing
the NBA term.
And I know people hate that with the NBA, but this is a lot different version of load management. I'm talking about you've already secured the 1 seed, and there's 3 games left in the season. Maybe you sit them out 1 or 2 of those.
Fair. Well, it was an awesome win for the Avalanche last night, 9-2 over the Calgary Flames. Cale Makar's going to be okay. We'll see how long he is out, and hopefully the Avalanche let the good times roll. How much stock do you put into that game on Saturday against Dallas? Is it kind of like when the Nuggets play the Thunder and the conversation that you and I have had about, they can't beat the Thunder, this, that, the other. Okay, you're beating the Utahs of the world. You're beating the Torontos of the world. Cute. Like, the Nuggets and the Avalanche are different in the sense that the Avalanche have been a dominant team all season, and we know Dallas is breathing down their necks. So does a win or a loss to Dallas really influence you one way or the other for the Avalanche in the playoffs?
I think it definitely can be a huge confidence builder for this Avs team. They've played, I want to say, 3 times this season. All of them have not been decided in regulation. So we know that the margins between these 2 teams are razor thin. I'd like to see them win it in regulation. I think that would be a confidence boost of like, hey, get ready for this if you see us in round 2.
Yep.
But I'm not, by no means am I going to say whoever wins that game is going to go on to win the series in the playoffs. I wouldn't go that far, but I'd like to see them edge them out by a goal or 2 in regulation and just get a little confidence boost of like, hey, we can do it against this team. This team, I'm talking about Dallas here. Dallas needs that game more than the Avalanche probably need
100%.
that game. So if the Avs can go out and play spoiler, I'm all for it.
I'm with you. Let us know your thoughts on the RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043. Okay, from the ice to the baseball diamond, Rockies and Blue Jays all tied up at 0-0 right now. Mad Max Scherzer is on the bump for Toronto. And the Rockies get off the pot last night with their first win of the season. And I understand it's easy to poke fun at the Rockies. They blew out Toronto, by the way, 14-5 in case you missed that one. They got swept by Miami in their opening series. Of course, you can join us at the Thirsty Lion on Friday. I'll be down there with Dover and Cease and the Drive guys. It'll be a good time. You have to run the board on Friday, huh?
Yeah, I'll be here, unfortunately. I got to go, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago to opening day, though, and it was awesome. We had a live show down there, stopped by that for a couple hours, and just the whole, McGregor Square there, all the streets were packed, a lot going on. It's a great time down there.
It's an awesome time, and thankfully it looks like the weather, knock on wood here, is clearing up. It doesn't look like there's any precipitation in the forecast, at least last I checked, although Drew yelled at me for looking at my weather app.
We're using the Apple weather?
I was.
Drew's such a weather snob.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, no, you should use this other website that's
fair.
Also maybe going to be probably wrong.
Hey, different strokes for different folks. I'm going to use the app that is built into my iPhone. If people want to go the extra mile, God bless them. That's kind of where I'm at with that. But with the Rockies on the baseball field last night, and just really to open up the season, I understand it's like you look at them losing their first 3 games to Miami, who's, Miami's actually had one of the better records in Major League Baseball going back to the All-Star break last year. I don't think a lot of people understand that. I believe they hired, it was a Rays executive they brought in to kind of start running their front office. Like, Miami's looking up, and I don't think they're going to make the playoffs or anything this year, but they're not as bad as you typically just think the Miami Marlins are. And I'm not trying to be silver lining Mr. Positive. Look, let me come out and say this. The Rockies are one of, if not the worst team in Major League Baseball. I had them losing 99 games this year, and I think that's extremely generous. I had them winning 63. But my takeaway from the first 3 games against Miami, I mean, they have a +6 run differential right now as well. They lost all 3 of those games to the Marlins by 1 run, and you're like, Anilo, this is loser talk. You're trying to justify losses. Like, no, I'm not. And I understand the Rockies' 0-3 start. I know they won yesterday against Toronto. It matches the worst start they've had in franchise history since 1994. That's how long it's been since the Rockies have started 0-3. But you know what I saw? I saw the starting pitching, despite not going super long, looked serviceable. Freeland looked better. I thought Lorenzen was all right. Quintana was nice. Senzatella looked all right out of the bullpen. The bats weren't anything in that opening series against Miami, but they erupt last night for 14 runs. We'll talk about Chase Dollander here in a second, who I think is a sour spot in that win against Toronto last night. But I'm at the point where the Rockies, where I see a lot of people casting judgment about, like, this team stinks, they're down and out, which they are to a certain extent. But I also think that's just the simple road. to take with this Rockies team, which is to pile on and pile on and pile on and pile on. They're not going to be good this year, but I think you and I had this conversation either on the air or off the air last week, Dante. This season is not on a road to nowhere as the last few years have been. This is a season where, yeah, you're going to go through growing pains, but those growing pains are essential.
Yes, absolutely. And it feels like they're on the right track here. And you mentioned it. To me, the starting pitching is just so much more of a professional operation. You see these guys work out of jams. It doesn't just fall apart in the first 4 innings of the game. They're giving the team a chance to win these ball games, as you saw in Miami, losing all 3 by 1 run. Low-scoring games for the most part in those. Last night, Sagano obviously gave them a great chance to win the game. They went out and won it. We got to the point last night where the Blue Jays were throwing position players in the 8th inning. That's how big of a blowout it got
catcher,
to.
wasn't it, I believe?
I didn't recognize the guy, but yeah, they had a position player out there in the 8th and 9th. So,
and that's so Rockies, by the way. To get swept by the Miami Marlins, 1-run games albeit, but to go into Toronto, the team that represented the American League in the World Series last year, and hang 14 on them. You can't score any runs against the Miami Marlins, but you go into Toronto and hang 14 on them.
And I will say there's a little bit of an asterisk on last night scoring runs.
Yes, there
the
is.
starting pitcher went down for the Blue Jays. Looked like he had a knee injury there. So the Blue Jays had to turn to the bullpen, I'm sure, a lot earlier than they were planning on doing so. But in years past, I don't know if the Rockies take advantage of that. Last night, the Rockies took advantage of that and hung, 7 in the 6th there, starting with the 2-run home run there. So I think it's just a different operation, a more competitive operation, a team that wants to win, not only wants to win, but knows they're good enough to go out there and win. And as you can see tonight, still 0-0 in the 5th inning here. So I just think it's the culture has shifted in that team. And I'm not saying they're going to go out and win 90 games this year or be competitive for a wild card spot, but it starts with this shift of going out and trying to win every game and not being something that just folds over very easily when the going gets tough. No. They're going to go out and they're going to make the other team earn the win if the other team does beat them. Also, Rockies 4-0 against the spread. To start the season.
I took Toronto last night. I was like, because I saw that they're playing left Miami late. I'm like, they lost 3 games. The vibes are low. Toronto's good. Let me lay 1.5 at $1.30.
Yeah, my buddy, he faded the Rockies in the first 3 games, and then he's like, screw it, I'm tripling down in this first game against Toronto. Didn't go too well for him either.
Yeah. Well, it's 0-0 right now in this game against Toronto. That, to me, in and of itself, and I know this is like grasping for straws, is kind of a win for the Rockies. Like, okay, you're showing up for the second game in a row. You're not blown out. It is Max Scherzer, so you haven't scored any runs. But one negative and just an objective take from last night's win, because you think 14-5, ooh, it's sunshine and roses, right? No. Chase Dollander out of the bullpen really struggled in that game last night. 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 earned runs. I believe 3 home runs he surrendered in that game as well. Did strike out 5. But one of the key takeaways that I made in the Rockies season preview that our guy Jake Shapiro put out on DenverSports.com is getting Chase Dollander right is a non-negotiable for me this season, because Chase Dollander is, in theory, the future of your organization, right? Lorenzen's probably going to be a 1-year guy. Quintana's an old guy. We don't know what the future holds from after this. Sagano, okay. These guys are slapping a Band-Aid on an open wound. Like when the Rockies were at their best in 17 and 18, they had the John Grays, the Tyler Andersons, the Young Freelands, the Senzatellas, the Marquezes. Like they had a competent starting rotation. And of the guys that are currently in the rotation, I'll leave Ryan Feltner out of this for just a second. And I know Dollander's not in the rotation right now coming out of the pen. He's the one guy that you look at as this dude has a future as a starting pitcher in this league because of where he was drafted and the repertoire and the skill set that he possesses. So, yes, you win the game 14-5. Love to see that, but you've got to get Chase Dollander right, and not a great impression for him to open up the season, despite the fact that he was the winning pitcher, which is crazy to me.
Well, to me, you saw signs still that he has some electric stuff on the mound, so I think it's about refining his skills at this point, and that's why I'm more encouraged that he's on the big league squad than sending him down to AAA with Albuquerque.
Agree.
I think
Work
it's
through
better
it.
for him. Yeah, exactly. Work through these issues where, again, he has talent. It's in there, and he shows it at times, but it's just about getting it more consistent for him. And I think we're going to see that throughout the year, that there's going to be some growing pains, but it's going to be overall he's going to end the year in a better spot than where he started it. So it's just the beginning for this guy. Still a young pitcher. Big league hitting is incredible, and especially the technology that these hitters have in terms of what the pitcher's throwing them, the arm angles, the mirroring the ball on top of each other. It makes it really difficult for these guys. And like I said, he's young. He's going to figure it out. It's just going to take a little bit of time. And hopefully next year he comes into 2027 with a legitimate starting role where you can rely on him for 30 starts in a season.
Yep, let us know your thoughts on the Rockies. We'll keep you updated with this game throughout the course of the evening as well. Hit us up on the RamosLaw.com text line, little Rocks, little Avalanche, whatever you want, 303-713-1043. Okay, when we come back, Sean Payton met with the media today, and he had a lot to say about J.K. Dobbins, about the run-it-back notion that's being floated out there. We'll talk about Sean Payton, do a little Broncos talk when we come back right here on The Fan.
With the idea that the Broncos fell short of their ultimate prize at running back in free agency, would it be in their best interest to still go out and find an insurance policy?
You tried for Breece Hall, he got franchise tag. It got to be too pricey for you. Your self-imposed budget prevented you from doing that. You're bringing back Dobbins. That makes sense as a third corresponding move. You brought back Dobbins after you struck out on Breece Hall and A-Chain. Good, you're bringing back Dobbins. I think that's a good move. Once those two other things did work out, you still need an insurance policy. And they will go get one. I know they will.
I'm about to file a claim.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey, Brandon Stokely here. Winter might be hanging on, but you know Colorado, warm one day, freezer the next. And trust me, summer is coming in hot. Beat the rush with an early bird air conditioner tune-up and inspection for only $49 from Rocks Heating and Air. They'll inspect your system and keep you cool when everyone else is scrambling. Call ROX Rocks Heating and Air today and schedule your tune-up before the end of March. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair, ROX, Rocks, Heating and Air.
All Seas Collectors Showcase, 3-day event with free admission, presented by Aurora Rise. Live auction by former football player Nate Jackson, silent charity auction, Cecil Lamming, comics, sports cards, Pokemon, and more at the Arapahoe County Fairgrounds, April 3rd through the 5th.
On top of home and auto, Progressive protects your boat, RV, and motorcycle so you can explore the unknown.
Actually, we just take the RV to the same campground every year.
Well, maybe you can catch your own dinner on your boat.
Oh, we can actually get pizza delivered there from this brick oven place we love.
Will you at least try a new topping?
Honestly, probably not. We kind of have a go-to order.
Fine. Just bundle home or auto insurance with your outdoor vehicles with Progressive and stay protected when you go, I guess, where you've gone before. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
After a devastating car crash, a lot of people think they can't afford a lawyer. They're already stressed, hurting, or maybe out of work. And the last thing they need is a big retainer fee to get help. But here's the truth. At Berg Simpson Law Firm, you only pay us if we win your case. That means there's no down payment and no upfront costs to get the help you need right now. Give Berg Simpson a call, and we'll be with you every step of the way.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Let's talk about your hair. If you're losing it and desire it back, then do what I did and go see Dr. Tanya Pauls at Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can personally attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but close to it. They put hair where you need it the most, and bam, it grows. It's actually science. Advanced Hair has it all. Top-rated Dr. Tanya Pauls, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day. Advanced Hair even guarantees it to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation today. Call 720-459-HAIR and you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. That's 720-459-HAIR. Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver, and they've changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. Become inspired with the before and afters at advancedhair.com. That's advancedhair.com.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Hi, Dan Cicchini with Dunright. Great pricing options and bank financing? You bet. Kitchens, baths, counters, and floors. Finished basements, windows, and doors. Done right since 1985. You have our word, we'll treat you right at Dunright. Visit DRHI.com. Thanks.
Hey, what's up? It's Zach here. And if you're looking for your new go-to spot in Centennial, the Basketball Social House is it. Award-winning food and drinks, an incredible weekend brunch, and a brand new sports bar entertainment space where you can catch every Colorado game. Even if you're not playing, it's a great hang. But if you are, their private basketball suites are unreal. Full court, lounge, music, TVs, the whole setup. And because you're hearing this from me, get half off your first private basketball suite rental. Just use code HALFOFFHOOPS. Trust me, you're going to love this place.
It's Denver Sports Tonight on Denver Sports Station 101.
With us on Friday for Rockies home opener. That should be a good time. But all right, let's talk a little Denver Broncos here. If you guys want to get involved with the conversation, RamosLaw.com, text line 303-713-1043. This one's funny to me. We heard from Sean Payton today for the first time in a minute, and there was a variety of topics that were discussed. Jalen Waddle, J.K. Dobbins, Jonah Ellis, the list goes on and on and on and on. I'm looking at this cut sheet here. I mean, there's literally, I think this is 19 different cuts. I think he spoke for 30 minutes or so today. But the one that is sticking out to me, Sean Payton is not fond of the term run it back.
It's not let's run it back. I hate that term. All right? It's not let's run it back. Let's understand one thing. It's anything but that. When you win 11 of 13 one-score games, like you saw the flip in just one season between Kansas City, it's how do you improve your team, and the better you get, the harder it is to improve your team. And so you just weren't patient enough for us to trade for Waddle. Your stories had been written.
Your stories had been written. So the thing that I find funny about it is it's pretty darn close to running it back. I mean, there's been two additions for the Broncos this offseason, notably, of course, Jalen Waddle coming in from the Miami Dolphins. But every other move, for the most part, that the Broncos have made this offseason is bringing back the Singletons, the Sternads, the Dobbins, the Troutmans, right? Like, the Broncos, in theory, are running it back with the majority of their core. You lose Jonathan Franklin-Myers, which I think is a bummer. You lose P.J. Locke, which I think is a sneaky loss that might come back to hurt Denver potentially. We'll see how that shakes out. But I don't understand why Sean is not fond of the term run it back when it literally feels like that's what this Broncos team is doing. Yes, there's a cherry on top in Jalen Waddle, and we'll see what happens in the NFL draft, and we'll see if there's a trade or a signing made between now and then. But the bulk of your core, the bulk of your team is the same. You're running it back for the most part.
Yeah, but he just doesn't want to call it that.
Fair. Why not? What's so wrong about saying, yeah, we're going to run it back with the team that won 14 games to get to the AFC Championship game? What's wrong with saying that?
I think that's a fair question. On top of it, the Seahawks, for the most part, are running back. I get that they went out and won the dang thing by winning the Super Bowl and by a wide margin there. So I don't know why he's so afraid of the term run it back. I think it probably has to do with his, and he's shared this before about, hey, you don't build off of what you did last year. You flip over the puzzle, and it's a brand new season. So maybe that's why he's afraid to say that, or he doesn't want the players to get comfortable in knowing that they're running it back. So I think it's more of a label thing more than anything, because for the most part, they are running it back.
Crazy. Sean also talked about some of the criticism that he heard from fans, reporters, I shouldn't say reporters, but fans and media alike on the talking shows.
I know. We tune out the angst. And there was a lot of angst when we selected Bo, where we selected him. There was a lot of angst when we made quite a few of these decisions. And look.
Yeah, could you talk about...
Well, I'm going to finish. Yeah. You have to tune that out.
Mike!
Now, I said this in a jokingly manner. We're aware of that. Like, we understand that, and yet you cannot chase what others outside the building feel like you should be doing. We spent a lot of time on this free agency class. We had a pecking order of what we thought was most important, and we were able to accomplish that. Now, I'm sure as hell glad that we had the Waddle trade done before I was coaching that damn flag football game. And our fan base wasn't going crazy as I'm working on a flag game plan.
Well, on top of that, Sean talks about how bringing back J.K. Dobbins was a priority over all others.
George and I, we're all sitting in there going through the puzzle. And, I think there were certain priorities. Dobbins was a priority ahead of all others. Now, that'll anger people. We know he's been injured. We understand. And the injuries haven't been soft tissue driven, but he's someone that's one of those, those compound multipliers. Like, he brings 10 others along with him in a positive light. Like, our success last year, he's got some fingerprints on that. Dre has some, all these players that came in that have been in winning programs, are a big part of how you win 14 games in call it year 3 of the program.
So a couple of things to unpack there. I do think that J.K. Dobbins was a priority, but if we're going to believe the smoke that was out there, I think J.K. Dobbins became a massive priority once they realized they couldn't get Breece Hall. And maybe the thought was, let's get Breece Hall and bring back J.K. Let's be fair in that sense. So maybe J.K. was always a part of this plan. But you saw as soon as Breece was off the market how quickly Denver pivoted to bringing back J.K. Dobbins. But I want to go back to the criticism from the fans and just the overall angst that Sean Payton was referencing. I respect what he's saying. You have to tune out the outside noise. You have to do what you believe is best for your organization to go out there and put a winning product on the field. And not just a winning product, but a team that can go out there and at least come close to replicating the success they had last year, which, of course, was 14 regular season wins and an AFC Championship game appearance. But the question I asked Jake Shapiro today on Shapiro and Piro, I'll ask you the same question here, Dante. By running it back, by doubling down, by bringing back Singleton and Sternad and Troutman and Dobbins, is there more pressure on the Broncos this season now than it would have been if they went out there and added a piece here, a piece there? Because essentially what Sean Payton's telling you is we were a Bo Nix ankle injury away from being in the Super Bowl. And so if you go out there and the fan base wanted you to upgrade linebacker, the fan base wanted you to upgrade running back, the fan base wanted you to upgrade wide receiver, which they did, tight end as well. Is there more pressure on Sean Payton in particular now that they've decided to kind of hold pat for the most part, minus J.K. Dobbins or minus Jalen Waddle?
I think there would have been pressure regardless. You go out and go 14-3, you have a young quarterback. I don't necessarily think there's more pressure. I think no matter what they did in the offseason with their free agency, if you go out and sign a big guy, people are going to say, oh, wow, they're really all in this year. Or in this case, they didn't do that. Well, they did make the trade for Jalen Waddle, I guess. But they, for the most part, ran it back. I think that still adds a lot of pressure. And you can say, hey, you guys thought this was good enough to get it done. And if you fall short of that, it's going to be an easy thing to point to of like, why would you not go add more talent?
Exactly.
So to me, I think it was the same amount of pressure regardless. This is a Super Bowl caliber team, and this team needs to go out and reach the Super Bowl. Or to me, I think it is a disappointing season. So I don't think any moves they could have made this offseason changed the level of expectation for Broncos country.
See, I'll disagree with you a little bit. I think because they didn't make any significant free agent signings. Bringing in Jalen Waddle is significant, but that was a trade. But I think because they didn't go out there and sign a Devin Lloyd type or go after one of the free agent running backs a la Kenneth Walker. And I didn't think Walker was a great fit for this team, but you know what I'm trying to get at with respect to upgrading that room. I think they're going to look back and say, okay, Sean, it's on you now. You got us to 14 wins last year. You're essentially standing pat in the free agent market while there's teams in the AFC that are getting better. And I think it also puts pressure on Vance Joseph to replicate the success they had defensively, because that's a one-for-one swap, actually minus a couple of players, losing JFM, losing PJ Locke as well. So,
but you don't think there would have been pressure if they went out and signed Kenneth Walker to a massive deal?
But let's say they start out, I don't know, 2-3, which I don't think is going to happen. Or like, let's say they have a losing record at some point, and linebackers a problem, and Singleton's missing tackles, right? And J.K. Dobbins maybe gets hurt. Like, these are going to be the conversations that come up if that were to play out. Let's hope. Knocking on wood, that doesn't happen.
But there would have been the conversation of, what are you doing going out and giving Kenneth Walker all this money and he turns out to be a bust? I think however they proceeded, there was going to be a lot of pressure. And I liked going back to his comments about how they don't really buy in to the pressure that they feel on this, the angst, I think is the word he used. I like that. And he's mentioned that with the draft before. You can't just follow the machine that decides like, this guy's supposed to be the 7th pick. This guy's supposed to be the 10th pick. I think you need to go out and grade it with your own eyes. And I like that it feels like Sean Payton has that, where he's going to make the ultimate decision. He's going to stand by those decisions that he makes. And he's not just going to say, everyone else was saying Kenneth Walker was worth $15 million a year. Why didn't we just pay him $15 million a year?
And I think the point that I try to make here is by week 8 of last season, you heard people talking about, we got to upgrade linebacker. Singleton ain't it. By the time J.K. Dobbins went down a couple of games into the R.J. Harvey experiment, it was like, we got to go out there and get a running back. And so the fact that Denver did not do anything different at those positions, and look, there's still time. We'll see what happens in the draft. We'll see what happens in the rest of free agency. I just think if they fall short or if they are stagnant or whatever it might be, you'll look back to this offseason. The fans will and say, why didn't we upgrade this? Why didn't we upgrade that? Fair or unfair. But I also think the expectation for Broncos country and the organization next year is championship game or bust. I think it's hard to say Super Bowl or bust just because of how hard it is to get there. But getting back to an AFC championship game to me is the minimum. I mean, if you lose in the divisional round or, God forbid, the wild card round, if you don't win the division, the city's going to be on fire. So we'll see. Let us know your thoughts there on the text line. Okay, let's hit a break. When we come back, we'll put a bow on the show. Want to have a little Nuggets conversation here with my man Dante. They're off tonight, but we're in the home stretch of the season. Has my opinion of the Nuggets changed from last week to this week? We'll talk about that next.
Baseball is back, and Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan is leading off the season in style. Join us Friday, April 3rd for our home opener party at Thirsty Lion Restaurant at Union Station. Dover and Cecil will get the party started live from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Then the Tribe will come out of the bullpen to close things out from 2 to 6.
How about that?
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
303 Law 4040. Want to share one of the best compliments we've ever received. Had a listener call in to 303 Law 4040. His name was Peter. His wife was viciously attacked in a dog bite incident. So we set up a time to have him come in, and I met with him at length while his wife was recovering at the hospital. A couple days later, my wife recognized the number. She had spoken to Peter before. So when the phone call came in, she said, Peter! It was actually Peter's wife. She said, how did you know? She said, well, we love our clients. She was just surprised that we recognized the number. We had her come in, we met with her, and she says, I feel like we're your only clients. It's really awesome. We're not your only clients, are we? No, they're not our only clients, but what a compliment that our clients feel valued and that we treat them with such a high level of service. If you ever need us, that's the type of service you will get too. It's Jacob's Law, 303-LAW-4040. That's 303-LAW-4040. Save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it.
I lost 60 pounds a few years ago with SodaWeightLoss.com, and it's never coming back. I am never gaining that weight back because I learned how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat with SodaWeightLoss.com. You can join Soda for a short time that have results that last a lifetime. Call them up at 1-866-800-SODA. That's 1-866-800-SODA. Or go online to SodaWeightLoss.com. And I lost those 60 pounds, and I'm never going back because of the personalized touch that SodaWeightLoss.com gives you with a personal nutritionist that's always available via text when you have questions, you have concerns. Sometimes you just need encouragement on your weight loss journey. Have a friend there. Have your personal nutritionist there for you. It's SodaWeightLoss.com. It's changed my life. I look and feel 10 years younger, and I love it. You'll love it too. Go to SodaWeightLoss.com. Again, call them up, 1-866-800-SODA. Join Soda for a short time to have results that last a lifetime. It's SodaWeightLoss.com. SOTA is, say it with me, state of the art.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-0000. That's 800-791-0000.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
There's nothing more meaningful you could do for yourself, your family, and friends than finally getting rid of that pain so they can enjoy time with you again, especially heading into vacation season. If you say yes to any of these questions, you are the kind of patient QC Kinetics regenerative treatments help every single day. Do you have consistent joint pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or back? The pain keeps you from getting a good night's sleep. I'm missing work or saying no to activities that I enjoy. I don't want surgery and a long recovery. I'm at the end of my rope, taking medications every day to just get through. Moment of truth. Did you answer yes to more than one of those questions? Well, today could be your day to turn that corner and finally get relief. QC Kinetics treatments are easy. They're done right there in the office so you can go about your day. The consultation's free, so don't wait. Call today. 303-900-8986. That's 303-900-8986. With locations in Aurora, Superior, Highlands Ranch, and the Springs, it's QC Kinetics.
Names that rhyme, takes that hit different. Shapiro and Piro is happy hour sports talk built for the modern fan. Local stories, hidden gems, and the mustache monologues you never knew you needed. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on the Denver Sports 1043 The Fan YouTube channel. Subscribe now at Denver Sports 1043 and get in on the action. Denver Sports 1043 The Fan. Denver Sports Station 1043 The Fan presents Denver Sports Tonight.
Final segment, Denver Sports Tonight. Danilo Piro, Dante Gomez. Appreciate you guys rocking with us on this Tuesday evening. Couple of texts I want to get to here real quick on the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043. And some good stuff here on the Avalanche as well. We have one text about a point that Dante made. This is from the 7168 with respect to the Broncos conversation. Doesn't the same pressure apply if you miss on a free agent? Yes, it does. I also think the difference is, I can't even say difference, but I think at least you're trying to upgrade. Like the way that I would look at it is if you look at Hufanga and Greenlaw, you batted 500. You went 1 for 2 in that situation, but that one that you hit on in Hufanga was absolutely essential to your team last year. So I think the point more so is you have to try to upgrade the linebacking position. You have to try to upgrade the running back position. And I put linebacker and running back in a different category. I know Dobbins has been injury-prone for his career, but last season it was kind of a freak injury that set him aside. So my thoughts on that. This one from JD, the 8928 on Cale Makar says, the Makar injury is scary. They need to sit him for a while. It's not worth risking anything before the playoffs. Agree with that. Dante and I both co-sign that one. So we'll see what happens with the Broncos. We'll see what happens with the Avalanche. So the Rockies down 2-1 here in the top half of the 6th inning. I believe that was Hunter Goodman who just hit a home run. So they were down 2-0. So we'll see how this game shakes out here tonight. Okay, closing thoughts on the Denver Nuggets. They find themselves on a 6-game win streak. And the Nuggets, much like the Avalanche, have had some injury scares, in particular in their last game. Spencer Jones went down with an injury. Aaron Gordon did not play. Zeke Naji with an injury. Cam Johnson with an injury. I haven't seen anything on the internet and from the reporters that I know that suggests that this is going to be any sort of devastating loss for Denver, meaning any of these guys miss a significant amount of time, which is a good thing. But does this 6-game win streak make you feel any differently about the Nuggets in the playoffs, Dante?
It does, and I actually said that about a month ago. It's like, hey, I'd like to see this team go on a 10-game win streak at some point before the playoffs, and that would give me some confidence that this team can be consistent over a period of time, because that's the one thing that we really haven't seen from this Nuggets team. They've shown that their ceiling is championship caliber, but they've also shown that their floor is pretty low, losing to some bad teams or barely scraping by against some bad teams. So I wanted to see some consistency. I've seen that out of this 6-game win streak. I'd like to see that continue through the rest of the regular season. And mostly because I think seeding's going to matter, and I want these guys to have the 4 seed, not have to go on the road, and that would mean being that 5 or 6 seed. So I'd like to see these guys finish strong, be that 4 seed, maybe even contend for the 3 seed if the Lakers fall apart here down the stretch.
Could happen.
It could happen, and I feel, again, more confident about it. And you mentioned that these guys won't miss a long period of time. I think that Spencer Jones one's does concern me a little bit, that there's a chance he could miss part of that early playoffs. Not that he's a huge part of this Nuggets team, but I like that his defensive versatility could be out there. And this team, the Nuggets, they don't really need help on the offensive end. They need some help on the defensive end. So I think that he could be a big piece that could be missing some time.
Yeah, I hear you, and I think it's a good thing that this win streak for the Nuggets has come when it has, especially because the last game they lost was that atrocity to the Memphis Grizzlies. I believe that was about 2 weeks ago now. And look, it gets me excited. It gets me optimistic. I feel good about the Nuggets right now, but I can't go crazy. I mean, there really isn't a signature win over a great team in this win streak. And I don't mean that as a slight to your Phoenix Suns, but like Phoenix is a good team. It's not an Oklahoma City. And I understand they just came back against San Antonio not so long ago, down 20.5. I understand that. But
that was also a Wemby-less San Antonio.
Amen. 100%. And the way that I look at this, too, is the Nuggets have won 6 games against teams that they should have beat, right? I mean, Toronto, nice. Portland, awesome. Suns, great. Mavericks, Jazz, Warriors, awesome. They should extend this win streak to 7 games tomorrow night against Utah. They almost lost that Utah game. I mean, if Utah isn't actively tanking and takes out Filipowski and some of the other guys at the end of the game, there's a chance they lose that game. Golden State was up at halftime, and then Denver clamps down on defense in the second half. So, look, I like where the Nuggets are at. And I'll say the same thing that I've continued to say on these airwaves the last month or so. I'm not sure there's anything, including a win against San Antonio on Saturday, and maybe I put my foot in my mouth when I say this, that can change my overall viewpoint on this Nuggets team. I've always thought they can win a championship. My confidence in that has wavered over the course of the season. But for me, much like it is for the Avalanche, there's only so much you can do in the regular season. I agree with Dante about go out there and get the best seed possible, get home court advantage in the first round, try to get the 3 seed and duck Oklahoma City for as long as you can. But I need to see this team get out of the second round. I need to see this team at least get to a conference final. So we shall see. All right, good show today. We hit on all 4. Nuggets, Rocks, Avalanche, and Broncos. Love to see that. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Nice little 4-sport show today on Denver Sports Tonight. We'll see if the Rockies can pick up their second win of the season. But good stuff with my man Dante Gomez here tonight. I'm Anilo Piro, Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan. Talk to you guys soon.
The countdown to the playoffs is on. 6 games left. And the spotlight is on Aaron Gordon. Soft tissue injuries, a year-long pattern, and a postseason that demands 2 months of nonstop intensity. Can he hold up when it matters most?